better health for everybody, every day. Transforming lives, 3 minutes at a time. Listen up. This is your daily health tip from The Good Company.
Hey everybody, welcome back to today's health tip. It's Melissa from The Good Company. This week I want to talk to you guys about sunscreen, sun exposure. What's the truth? What are the myths? Making sure that you're buying what you need based on what you're planning to do this summer. So there's a lot of confusion over sun exposure, right? Do we get a tan? Is a tan good for us? Are there toxins in our sunscreens? Do we skip sunscreen altogether? Do we use lots of sunscreen? Are we using protective clothing? How do we protect our eyes from the sun? If we're not exposing to the sun, how are we getting vitamin D? How do you treat overexposure to the sun? All of those questions this week I'm going to try to answer. But I want to start with probably the biggest lie about sun exposure, which is avoid the sun between 10 and 2. Between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., the sun is at its highest. The sun will be the strongest. We cannot tolerate large amounts of exposure during this time. However, we need those UVB rays to penetrate the atmosphere, to get into our skin, to provide the building blocks that our body needs to synthesize vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential for our health. It's really imperative for our immune systems, for the strength of our bones. So we want to make sure we're getting vitamin D. Now, the best way to do that is with sun exposure, right? That's what nature intended. We start off with white skin after wintertime and low exposure, and we should be gradually exposing ourselves to the sun. Arms and legs, tan your tummy or your back if you want. I always am sure to use sunscreen on my face, and I'm going to cover that probably tomorrow or the next day when I talk about sunscreen. And that should be year-round. That should just be a habit that you're into, one of those micro habits that we've talked about. Wake up, wash your face, brush your teeth, moisturizer with sunscreen. However, no sunscreen on arms and legs and trunk if you choose. And the idea is you want to expose yourself for about half the amount of time it would take to pink. So if you knew that 20 minutes in the sun would leave you a little pink, you want to start off with about 10 minutes. Every day that's sunny, remember you can still get some of those rays through clouds. So don't think, I'm going to go twice as long because it's cloudy out. You can wind up with a sunburn. We don't want to get sunburned, guys. We want to expose our skin gradually to build up that tan so that we can expose ourselves longer from time to time if we are exercising or gardening. And we are, protecting ourselves from future burns with this exposure, as well as generating those building blocks for vitamin D synthesis. So don't be afraid of the sun is my point for you or your kids. I mean, our kids should not be going to the beach all day long in May. It's just the way it is, right? They should be outside playing basketball for 10 or 15 minutes. And longer than that, bring them in, put a hat on, put some sunscreen on. Tomorrow I'll talk about sunscreen, show you what I use, some of the websites you can check out. And today I'm going to leave a link in the show notes to a great book that I own by vitamin D researcher Michael Hollick. It's called The Vitamin D Solution. Lots of great information if you want to dive a little bit deeper into this whole vitamin D thing. So with that, go outside, get some sunshine, and I'll see you tomorrow.